I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan, when the mountains are pulverized. The strongest earthquake determined to date registers around 9.5 on the Richter scale. An earthquake of that intensity will swiftly inflict a terrible catastrophe on the region in which it takes place. The earthquake that occurs on the Day of Judgment, however, will be of an intensity the like of which has never before been seen anywhere on earth. This quake will be so great that even the mountains that stick into the ground like giant pegs and protect the earth against violent quakes will be unable to withstand it. Mountains regarded as immovable and the soundest structures on earth will be torn up and begin sliding together with the soil underneath them. Verses from the Quran that describe this movement of the mountains on that day read as follows. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. And the mountains shift about. And the mountains are shifted and become a mirage. On the day we make the mountains move, and you see the earth laid bare, and we gather them together, not leaving out a single one of them. Mountains cover much of the world. The simultaneous uprooting of all of them, such giant structures sliding over the earth and coming together, and the ground becoming totally flat is, of course, one of the most terrifying sights that people can ever witness. It is hard to imagine such a sight. Just imagine that the Himalayas, the Alps, and the Taurus Mountains, whose peaks people have enormous difficulty in reaching and are regarded as being rooted to the ground, suddenly begin rocking and moving. Mountains tens of thousands of meters high, and the cities built on the slopes of those mountains will suddenly collapse. It is a terrifying state of affair when all the mountains in the world turn into piles of sand, and when these magnificent structures suddenly collapse. Thus it is very important to comprehend the infinite might of Allah and to appreciate His greatness. The form that mountains will assume on the Day of Judgment is described in the Quran. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. On the day the earth and the mountains shake, and the mountains become like shifting dunes. Another piece of information imparted in the Quran is that after the mountains have been broken apart and have collapsed, the earth will become completely flat. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. They will ask you about the mountains. Say, my Lord will scatter them as dust. He will leave them as a barren, level plain, on which you will see no dip or gradient. Imposing sights that seem very familiar to us when we look outside will be totally flattened on that day. All mankind will be gathered together on that utterly flat wasteland. Allah emphasizes this in Surah Al-Kahf. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. On the day we make the mountains move, and you see the earth laid bare, and we gather them together, not leaving out a single one of them.